Hi, everyone. So it's a few minutes past. I think we may as well go ahead and kick off. So thank you very much to those of you who have joined today's webinar. This one is the second series in an installment we have been running for agents titled New Way to the UK. The emphasis here is on knowing the different visa types, the different tests which are required for the different visa types, and also ways that we can partner with you. So we will be led by two of our panelists, and they will introduce themselves and also introduce the topics. Just a couple very quick housekeeping items. We do want to let you know that the audience is muted just to make sure we don't have any background noise. But if you do have a question, please feel free to leave it. We'll be addressing questions at the end of the session. If you encounter any technical issues or can't hear us, please feel free to drop a message and we'll do our best to help. And if you want to drop in a hello into the chat and let us know where you're from, that would be great. We're joining today from London. And without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Chris Morley. Chris will be powering the slides and walking us through the presentation. So thank you again for your time, and we look forward to a great session.
I think you're on mute.
I think Chris might be on mute there.
Apologies. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. As I said, I'll be driving the slides and I'll talk later, but I'd like to pass over to Muna Mazar, Head of Market Development for Pearson PTE, who will take us through the first section.
Thanks, Chris. Good morning, good afternoon to everybody. Thank you for joining. As Chris mentioned, my name's Muna and I am the Head of Market Development for PTE based in London. We are doing the second of a series of webinars to talk to agents about how we might work with you and use our tests to really make your work and the client's work a lot easier for you. So just if we can move to the next slide. Oh, okay, some housekeeping, which I think Rochelle has already been through. The webinar will be recorded, so you can, of course, watch back or pass on to any colleagues after the event. Great, the test that's ready when you are. So just a quick note about that. Obviously, we are in strange times at the moment and everybody's lives have changed quite considerably over the last few months. And really, you know, this is truer now than it ever has been, in that we are ready to start looking at how we can help you when you want to restart your plans. You might have changed them, but hopefully we will be able to provide your testing needs when you are ready to get going again. In terms of the webinar, so we will start off with which PT test for which purpose. I know that there's been a lot of questions around that, and it can sometimes be a little confusing about which test is suitable to use. From our last webinar, we had quite a few questions around vouchers, so we'll cover a little bit about that and how you can work with vouchers in different ways and with us in partnership. And then Chris will cover off how you can prepare your clients for our tests and what marketing support we offer. And then we'll end with some question and answer session. Thanks, Chris, if you can. Okay, which PT test? If we just move to the next slide, I can show you our 3 tests. So we have 3 tests that sit in our PT portfolio: PT Academic, PT UK, Academic UKVI, and PTE Home. Now, PT Academic, I think, is probably the one you are all most familiar with. It's been around and being used around the world. It's accepted for Australian and New Zealand visas, and it's recognised by universities around the world for international study. So it's one that's been used, and you would have sent candidates to different institutions for using that test. PT Academic UKVI is actually an identical test. The content, the format, everything about the test is the same, but the difference is the way in which it's registered for, and that's because it's for UK government purposes. So if somebody needs to come to the UK with a visa, then they will need to take a UKVI test. because it provides them with a particular code that they need for their visa. So that is the only significant difference between the two tests, but it is still important that people are clear on which version they need to take when they are applying for whatever purpose they're taking the test. PTE Home is a 2 skills test, and there's actually 3 versions within that group: A1, A2 and B1 level at CFR. That's for UK family and settlement visas, and you can use each of those tests at different stages in the settlement process. So we'll talk through that in a little bit more detail as we go through the slides as well. This slide is quite useful. Again, we get a lot of questions around the difference between PTE Academic and PTE Academic UKVI. So hopefully this gives a clear snapshot of exactly how it can be used and the 2 different tests. So as you can see, both tests can be used for Australia, New Zealand migration, for university entry around the world, scholarship programs. The only difference is that for a UK visa, you do need to take the UKVI version. And one question that I do hear a lot is, if I've taken the UKVI version, can I then use it for Australian applications, for example? And the answer to that is yes, you can. The score that you get is still absolutely valid for that purpose. However, we wouldn't encourage somebody to take a UKVI test unless they were coming to the UK or were applying to the UK for visa purposes of some sort, because the UKVI version is slightly more expensive than the standard PTE Academic. So if you don't need to take the UKVI version, then the standard PTE Academic will suit those other purposes. Okay, here's a nice snapshot of all the different visa types that you might need for the UK, and they've been categorized for you there just to give you an idea of which visas sit within which test structure. So settlement at the bottom is where you would take PTE Home, and again, you might need to take an A1 or an A2 or a B1 level. And then for study, you would most likely need to take PTE Academic. That would be if you were going to a university that was a Tier 4 sponsor, for example. But in some situations, you need to take the UKVI version, for example, if you were studying below degree level. And then for work, we have a mix of the 2, UKVI or Home, depending on the nature of the visa that you would be applying for. Now, this list is available to you, and we will be providing some handouts a little bit later, so you can take a closer look, but just to give you a snapshot there. Okay, so for UK study, as I mentioned that PTE Academic and PTE Academic UKVI are the 2 tests to take. So here's a nice little flow chart for you, which should make it quite straightforward. Basically, the first question is around whether this candidate will be studying at degree level or above. If the answer to that is yes, and your institution is a visa sponsor, Tier 4 visa sponsor, then you can take a standard PTE Academic test and you do not need to take the UKVI version. If you are studying below degree level, so for example, a foundation course, etc., then you would have to take the UKVI version to enter the UK. So basically it's that threshold. At degree level and above, you can take a standard PTE Academic test, and below you would need a UKVI version. There will be some exceptions to that, and you should always check with your institution and check that they are approved for visa sponsorship. But on the whole, that's a good way of determining which is the right visa, the right test to take. Okay, and for UK settlement, I mentioned PTE Home, and here is a nice little flow chart of exactly what a candidate would need to go through if they were settling in the UK. And what PTE Home offers is 3 different versions of the test that can take you through that entire process. So upon arrival, you need to take an A1 test, and then after 2.5 years, you have to move through to show that you are improving in your English language abilities and making progress. So you would take that A2 test that we offer. And then when you get to the point of applying for indefinite leave to remain and then eventually citizenship, you'd need to be demonstrating your English level at a B1. So the PTE Home suite offers an option at each of those stages, so you can just work through those particular tests to get through to the citizenship status that you were looking for if you were coming to the UK. Great.
I think we're going to just send a quick poll to the audience here. So everyone watch for a poll to appear on your screen. This is our first of 3. So what are you most interested in when partnering with a test provider? And we've got replies coming in. Just a few. We'll keep it open for another few seconds, so cast your vote.
We got lots of
Okay, we're going to go ahead and close this one. And the results?
Great. Oh, that's really interesting. So actually it's showing that there are various different areas that we can work with you. Great to see that discount vouchers is something people are interested in, but clearly the most important element for the people on this call is the free and paid for preparation material. So as we mentioned at the beginning, we will be going through that in a little bit more detail in a few moments, and hopefully you'll be able to see just how much we are able to offer on that front. Okay, so I'll just talk a little bit about working with vouchers. As I mentioned, it was a question which came up a few times in the first webinar we held in this series. So we currently offer 2 sets of vouchers for PT Academic. For the live test, we offer vouchers, and for the practice test, which again falls under that practice material section, which we'll cover off later. In terms of the live test, we have some basic standard options available, and they're available on our website, and I'll go through those in a moment. Essentially, there's a minimum purchase requirement of 10 vouchers, and the minimum discount that you would get is 5% of off the test fee. Now, the test fee varies in different countries, so it would depend on what the test fee was in your location. So there's no standard price on that, but a 5% discount rising to 10% if you purchase 50 vouchers or more. The validity of those test vouchers is 1 year. So it really works in terms of building up a bank of vouchers that you can then use throughout your year, where you have seasonality, for example. You may want to purchase more, and so on. And that's a standard offer that we have for PT Academic. And I will talk through how we might be able to partner in slightly different ways in a moment. Just to talk about the practice test vouchers, they are actually priced a bit differently. So they're not priced according to market. It's a standard dollar price that is available. And the discount structure is set out in that little table that you can see on the right hand side. Basically, the more vouchers that you purchase, the higher the discount you'll receive. So of course, it's about volume. It's about making sure that you're able to facilitate a preparation pathway for your clients before they take the live test. But there is scope there for you to get a 15% discount on the 50 vouchers for the practice test, as opposed to the 10% on the live test, because they operate in slightly different ways. But quite an interesting scheme. And if you were to use the 2 together, you could actually make quite a nice little program for your clients as they are preparing to move abroad or study abroad. Great. And just to show you how that works on our website, again, I think sometimes people aren't sure where they need to go, but essentially this is available directly off our website. You just need to go to the For Organisations section on our page, on our homepage, and then follow through to For Agents, where you'll see that information about test vouchers. And there you'll get information on both the live test vouchers and the practice test vouchers, as I mentioned. And if we just go to the next slide. So when you hit the page for the vouchers, it will actually ask you to select your country where that red arrow is. And then once you select your country, it will let you know the price of the vouchers depending on how many you are purchasing. And as I mentioned, we have two standard discount rates. So we've got the 5% discount for 10 to 49 vouchers and 10% discount for over 50 vouchers. And if we just move over to the next one, and then you just complete an order form as outlined there. You provide your details, you provide the code that was supplied against the voucher discount that you're looking to purchase, and you submit that. And what you then receive is a list. For example, if you were to buy 50 codes, you would receive an electronic list of codes that you could then distribute as you saw fit with your clients. What we also provide in this scenario is, of course, a little, just a nice little piece of collateral, which you can then use to put the voucher code. You can insert the voucher code onto the top of the piece of paper, and it gives instructions to the candidate about how they can actually book that test without having to use their credit or debit card. So if we move to the next slide, in fact, there it is. So on the left-hand side of that slide, you'll see that's exactly the piece of collateral that I was just talking about. So it gives you the option to actually present your clients with an easy instruction on how to book the test. So I mentioned about ways of working with vouchers. So just a few ways that we work with different partners around the world using vouchers. So some of our partners will package the practice and live tests, as I mentioned earlier, and make it into a bundle. Now, if you're also offering things like preparation courses, you can actually include both the practice test and a live test as part of that entire package. It seems to be quite popular where it has been used, and I'd certainly encourage you to look at exploring that as an incentive for your clients. Another very common way for agents to use the vouchers is to pass on some of that discount to their clients and retain some of it. So if you were to get a 10% discount, perhaps you might offer the test at a slightly smaller discount of 5%, for example, and especially if you're doing some kind of promotional program at that time. I mentioned increased discounts. Now, we do have that standard 10%. However, we do always look to work with partners in other ways, or ways that benefit the business that you're doing, as well as what we want to do in different markets. So if you knew that you would be dealing with large numbers of test takers at particular times of the year, for example, and that you would want to purchase larger amounts, we could certainly be looking at putting in place a larger discount for larger purchases or over a period of time, for example, so that you could really make the most of referring candidates to our test. We also sometimes are able to put together some bespoke packages around vouchers. So for example, there might be specific thresholds. So over a year, once you hit a particular threshold of purchases, we might increase the discount a little bit more. And then if you were to hit a further threshold, further discount, and so on and so forth. And again, if there really is opportunity in your market and the test is something that you need for your clients, then that would certainly be an option which we would be interested in looking in. We could also focus testing on a particular location. If you had a partnership with particular organizations within a city, you might want to focus your candidates on taking the test within that city. So we can even specify a particular test center, for example, within that voucher code. So we can really work with you on what might be suitable for your clients, for your business, for what you're trying to do in a market, and really tailor our messaging and our promotions to your needs. And then finally, specific terms or promotions for time-bound campaigns. So again, if you were really going out into the market for a particular short-term promotion around a recruitment fair, for example, we can probably produce vouchers that give you a special discount to promote at that event, and it would last for a limited time. And then we can review and look at different options as we move forward. So there's a range of ways that we can work with you, and really, it allows you to basically provide lots of different options for your candidates, and make sure that they get the best experience that they can, and the quickest and cleanest way of testing and getting through the process of study or migration that they're looking to achieve. And just a final note to say that if you are interested in looking at different ways of using those vouchers, then the first port of call would be your PTE representative in your local region. And if you are not in contact with that representative, then we can put you in touch. So you will be receiving an email after this webinar, and there will be an option to request for us to make a connection for you, so we can do that. We have colleagues all over the world who will be more than happy to help and talk through your particular circumstances and how we can assist you in your business. If we could, thank you. Okay, and just finally, there's an agent FAQ handout, which I think we're going to put into the handout section of this webinar a little bit later. And that outlines everything I've just covered. It talks about the different tests. It gives you that little table of the different visa categories in the UK. And it also just goes over how you can purchase those standard vouchers that I showed you on the previous slides. And one last thing to mention is that we are working on a tool which will allow agents and our other partners to manage their bookings, their administration, and their clients a lot more easily, and will provide a range of further incentives and systems to manage large cohorts very effectively. So I'd just say keep an eye out for that. We will of course keep you posted, but lots of exciting things coming up in terms of how we want to and can work with agents in the future. And on that note, I think we have another poll. Is that right, Rochelle?
Hi, yes, it is. Thank you. So the next poll that we're going to open up is the majority of my clients are. So if you will go ahead and get your votes in, please. And I'll also just take this opportunity to mention, if you do have any questions, please feel free to enter them into the questions box. We'll get to those at the end of the presentation. Looks like we have just about half completed, so we'll open this for another 30 seconds or so. Okay, I think we've got a good portion, so I'm going to share those results. What do you think about these, Mana?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Really interesting, actually. Okay, so postgraduate seems to be the highest, which is a little bit surprising, actually. I thought it would be more equal to undergraduate study, but that's really interesting to note. And of course, that means for those 38% who are sending people to take a postgraduate qualification, you can of course use PT Academic rather than PT Academic UKVI in that particular instance. And yeah, we've got some Canadian bound students as well, I think, which we can talk more about. I'm sure there'll be some questions at the end around Canada, and we can just outline how PT Academic can be used for Canada as well in the question and answer session. But really interesting to see where you're sending your clients. Thank you for that.
Great, thanks, Minna, for outlining the which test for which purpose and the voucher section. I'm going to take us through a couple of other topics that came up in the first webinar that we did a few weeks back, specifically relating to preparation and also materials, marketing support that we can provide for you and your clients. And given the results of the first survey, it seems that preparation in particular is a very relevant topic, so it will be good to go into a little bit more detail on that section. So to introduce this topic, we've really divided PTE preparation into three main steps and three main suites of resources that we can provide you with, starting with familiarization, so looking at what to expect from PTE Academic and PTE Home. These involve video guides, tips, literature, just familiarizing your clients with what to expect on test day. The second step is specialist help. Now, we realize that some agents or preparation centers might be more or less actively involved in the preparation process, so there might be maybe a lesser need for specialist help. But if there is a need to maybe refer clients to extra preparation, that is something that we can support with. And then thirdly, looking at practice tests, something that Muna touched upon previously, the actual possibility to take a mock test to see where the client is compared to where they need to get to. So I'm going to outline the resources that we have for these three sections. To start with, looking at the what to expect section and familiarization, what can we support you with in this stage of the journey? I've outlined 4 particular resources that we feel will be of support here. Firstly, looking at the official PTE academic app, which you may or may not be familiar with. This is very much a familiarization tool, which can be found by searching official PTE academic practice on the App Store or on your Android device. And here you will find a free app which can be downloaded, which includes sample questions, tips, and a personalized study planner to support the test taker in their preparation pathway. The second resource is a score guide, which can be found on our website, and I will direct you to where that is specifically in the following slides. This is a piece of literature which is a good indication of how scores are processed and what is needed for different purposes. Test taker tips is something that you will see on the next slide, where to find these. These are very useful individual tips for individual questions. For PT Academic, there are 20 different question types, and there is individual support available for each of those different questions. And then if an online course is required, we do partner with E2 Language, who provide individual personalized online courses if that is required. This is a screenshot of the tips section of our website. If you go to, and I'll show this on the next page, pearsonpte.com/preparation, you can find there is a breakdown of the different sections of the exam. So the different question types here you can find for speaking, personal introduction, read aloud, repeat sentence, describe image. And for each of these questions, you can find a video guide, a quick breakdown of what skills the question is assessing, as well as some tips to guide the test taker through that particular question. Here is a link to the website or the mini site where you can find these resources, pearsonpte.com/preparation/resources. And in addition to the tips for each particular question, you can also find some extra resources which again look at the familiarization aspect and also the preparation or the final preparation for PT Academic. The first 2 resources that I've outlined are the offline practice test. If there is a need for a free practice test, something that can be taken using pen and paper, that is a free resource which is hosted on this section of our website. The practice app I've outlined previously, and then it also links through to scored practice tests, which are scored using the same AI technology as the live PTE test, so it will give an exact indication of where the test taker is. And it also links through to a variety of courseware, which might be of use to you if you are looking to run a PTE preparation course and might be looking for some courseware, some more detailed preparation to support clients. This involves a course book called PTE Expert, which is a modular course, as well as a practice test book and an official guide. So there are 3 particular resources in the courseware section that can help you out. The practice tests and course books are also paid resources, whereas the app and the offline practice tests are all free. I want to spend a bit of time talking about a newer resource which has been launched quite recently, and this is a free online course both for PTE Academic and for PTE Home, all 3 levels, which you can find here. The steps to access this free online course is again going to our website, pearsonpte.com, going to the preparation tab, so accessing the mini site which I linked to on the previous slide, and on that mini site you will find a tab, a link saying Introduction to PTE free online course, and clicking on this you will be linked through to this page here where you can find 4 free courses, 1 on PTE Academic and 3 on the different levels of PTE Home, which can be taken mainly as a familiarization tool in that first step of the preparation journey, getting familiar with each individual question type. Here is an outline of the content of this free online course. Each question type, so for PTE Academic, as I said previously, there are 20 different questions. You will find 3 stages. You will find a tutorial video where it outlines what to expect, the outline, how much time you will have, what you will see on the screen, etc. The second step will be some practice activities, so looking at practicing, recording or answering, reading or writing question, which can be done again on the platform. And then once that question has been completed, the third step is an answer video, which is meant to be a tool for feedback. So to give an idea of maybe areas that can be improved on, tips to do the question better next time, and to provide a bit of a, I suppose, a response to any areas that might need improvement or tips that can help improve performance. That gives an outline of the PTE Academic course, so the 3 steps involved in that. If you are looking for any training resources, if you are running PTE or interested in running PTE preparation courses, watch this space because we will soon have a mini site on our website called pearsonpte.com/teachers, where we will be hosting a range of teacher support material such as lesson plans, curriculum outlines, and mapping documents, which can give you the guidance you might require in running maybe a short intensive course or a longer course. This suite of resources also includes free teaching guides and resources. It will link to any teacher training events. You can see that in 2019, we had over 600 attendees, so it's an area that we're looking to provide extensive support on. And we also have master trainers aimed at facilitating and enabling teachers to deliver PTE courses based across countries such as China, the Asia Pacific region, India and Turkey. So if you are in one of these areas and are interested in finding out more about what we can offer here, please get in touch with your local contact. If you are not in contact, as Muna said previously, we will put you in contact. We'll make that connection in the follow-up email that we'll send to this webinar. I also mentioned in the previous webinar a couple of resources for PTE Home if any clients need to prepare for these tests. To find these resources on the website, you will find a tab called Why PTE, and that will direct to a mini site specifically dedicated to PTE Home. And this is what you can find on this site: an introduction to the test itself with a video, some more information on each level of the exam, so A1, A2 and B1, and also links to some preparation resources for our 2 skills tests. This involves 3 online courses, which I mentioned previously. For each level of PTE Home, there is a course which follows exactly the same outline with 3 steps: an introduction video, practice activities, and a feedback video. But in addition to that, there are also video guides for each question type, so examples of what the test taker will see on test day, and test taker handbooks available in English, but also in simplified Chinese, Hindi and Urdu. So if there are any clients from these countries or speak this language, we can provide a localized handbook for their needs. That gives an overview of the preparation resources. Maybe you are familiar with some of these might be new, but I think it makes sense to give a bit of a broad overview of what we have there. If there are any questions, we can take them forward in the Q&A section or follow up offline after the webinar. But that's an indication of what we can provide for those 3 steps of the preparation journey: familiarization, online courses, and practice. The final section I want to talk about, and Rochelle, I just want to check, do we have a third poll at this stage?
Yes, we do. We'll do one last poll, so I will go ahead and share this one. Thanks, Chris. So our final poll is: the biggest problem for my client is, and please pardon the typo. We've opened that one up, and if everyone would like to get their votes in. All right, we're about halfway there. Okay, I will go ahead and close this one. I see we've got a majority. Let's see what we have.
Thanks, Rochelle. I can't see it on my screen, so do you mind talking through the results?
Yeah, certainly. So we have the biggest problem. It looks like the leading one is getting the required test score. So 46% of respondents have rated that one most highly. And then next we have learning and improving their English before taking a test. Finding an available test session, that's also a large problem. And then lastly, choosing the right university course. So what do you make of those responses? Is that surprising?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting to see those results, and I suppose it links to the previous poll we did on why preparation is such a important topic. If there are issues in test takers needing to get a few more points on the global scale of English, hopefully these resources can make the difference, I suppose, between getting or not getting the right score. If there are issues with test takers needing to retake, again, we can direct you to our customer support, where we can provide all the information required. I think as well, we can provide in our follow-up just the relevant links that we talked about to those resources that hopefully will just keep helping test takers in that journey, getting the score they need. Thanks, Rochelle. The final point I wanted to spend a couple of minutes talking about is marketing support. So, or more specifically, equipping agents with the right information when it comes to consultations with clients or any events or any meetings you might be having in which you might need information about language testing requirements and PTE more specifically. And we saw the need on the level of marketing and providing collateral, providing information, of putting these resources into one place. So we realized that we have a lot of resources. They might not all be the easiest to find. So what we want to do is make sure that you as agents have everything you need in one place for all purposes. And with that in mind, we have created very recently an agent flipping book. Now, this is a resource which links through to the following areas of information, which you can find on this slide. So information for clients, slide decks, if there are any presentations that you might need information on language testing, preparation guides, so referring back to what I mentioned previously, overviews, which give a broader view of the resources that are available to yourselves and your clients, practice questions as well. And in addition to that, digital assets. So if there's anything you want to put on websites, social media channels relating to PTE or language tests, that's something that we can, again, link to in this flipping book. If we open it up, this gives a list of some of the resources that are inside, so information about PTE generally, available in different languages, information and guides on vouchers for practice tests and live tests, so summaries of the information that Muna presented previously, information about our recognition from universities, so that links to the question in the poll around choosing the right university course, making sure that the test that they're taking will get them where they need to go. Our test center network, which is continually expanding. In the last webinar, you may have seen that we are looking to increase the number of locations and countries that we are testing in rapidly. We're looking to test in 117 countries by the end of the year. So that's another updated resource to keep you up to speed on where we are testing, as well as the business presentations, both for PT Academic and PT Home. In addition to that, we have resources on comparisons between different tests to make sure that your clients are choosing the right test for them. Guides, both for test takers and teachers, on our preparation resources and the preparation pathway. Information about scoring and post-test activity, and the handbooks that I mentioned in our previous section on PT Academic and PT Home. And finally, the digital assets I mentioned are on the final page for PT Academic, PT Home, PT Academic UKVI, and some practice questions that can be hosted on digital channels. Here is just a sample of some of the resources that can be found in this flipping book: the recognition list, test center list. The third document you can see is a post-test flyer, so what to do after taking PT Academic, and a preparation flyer as well, giving an overview of some of our resources. So the question, I suppose, that will come up is, well, how do I access this flipping book? And again, it's really the same process as we outlined previously. So around the world, Pearson has a range of PT Academic leads in different countries. And if you want to access and get this support in the form of the flipping book, please get into contact with your local PTE lead. We want to make sure that this is being shared with the right people, essentially. So the flipping book will be made available through the local leads we have. And if you are not in contact with a PT Academic contact in your market, again, there will be the opportunity to make that connection in the follow-up that we send. So if this is something that resonates with you, that will support you in your work with clients, please do let us know. That brings us then to the end of the 4 areas that we wanted to go into more detail on. And I believe we have around 15 minutes to answer any questions. So Rochelle, I'll hand over to you.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Chris. I do see we've had a few questions come in, so I'm going to start with this one. So I noticed we've had a lot of questions around vouchers. So one of them is, can we buy vouchers for PTE UKVI? And then additionally, there's been a question around overall promotion strategies and tactics. So could I open that up to Chris and Muna, please?
Sure, thanks, Rochelle. So the first question was around vouchers for UKVI, and yes, apologies, I should have mentioned, we don't at the moment have the ability to offer vouchers for UKVI version of the test. However, that is something that we are looking at, and we hope to be in a position to announce a voucher program for that particular version of the test soon. So again, watch this space and we will keep you posted. We've got your contact details. If you've selected or consented to us contacting you, then we will certainly be providing that information as soon as it's available, and we expect that to be relatively quickly. And then, sorry, the other question was around promotional activities. Is there anything specific?
So someone has just asked if there are any promotional tactics or strategies that can be used in sort of in addition to vouchers, if there are any recommendations there. Yeah, it looks like just generally any tactics.
So, well, I mean, obviously we can work with you on promotional activities that might be useful for your particular clients or particular opportunity that you are looking to pursue. So, you know, if it's in the student space, we might be able to work with universities and bring agents and universities together and work as a kind of connecting point where we can promote not only the testing element, but then the full journey through to that institution, for example. We can also support wider engagement. So if we are speaking to institutions who are going on recruitment drives, for example, we can connect to particular partners in particular markets, especially where we know that institutions are looking to recruit within a particular country or region, then we can certainly make those connections. So that kind of promotional activity helps to build our relationship both with you and with the university, and to, of course, build our presence in the market in terms of the tests that we offer and how they can be used. So that would certainly be something we could explore. And of course, the different ways that we can use the vouchers, and then the further incentives, which I referred to in terms of that new tool we're looking to implement for agents, that will give a range of incentives and ways of working with us that that will kind of make us a bit closer in terms of the work that we do with our partners.
That's great. Thank you very much. We have another question here that perhaps this one may be suited to contact afterwards, but this is a question around bulk buying PTE as test vouchers from Bangladesh. Mona, do you want to take that one online, or should we get in touch after the webinar?
Sure, yeah, we can get in touch after the webinar. It's certainly possible, is what I'd say. So we can talk about the specifics and see what works, and hopefully tailor something which suits our needs and your needs.
Okay, perfect. So thank you to the person who asked that question. We'll make contact with you after the webinar. The next question we have is, are there any test centers in Pakistan?
Yes, there are. There are 2 test centres at the moment, and they both deliver UK VI version of the test as well as the standard version, and also PTE home. So one is based in Lahore and the other is in Islamabad. And that will be listed on our website. We will provide a link to our test centre page on our website in the follow-up email. So please do take a look and see the location, etc. We are also looking to expand within the country in due course. So again, watch this space. You'll be seeing more test centres in Pakistan, I hope.
Great, well, that's exciting. The next question is, how often do test centers offer tests in India? Are they open every day?
Yeah, pretty much. So we have a range of test centres across the country. We test every day somewhere in the country, and most test centres are testing daily. If not daily, it would likely be at least Monday to Friday. But there's no problem in terms of finding test sessions in India at the moment. We were, of course, closed because of the COVID situation for a while, but we are operational in India again, and we're seeing a lot of people coming in to take tests. But if you're looking for a particular region, we can certainly provide more information around that and what's available, for example, within Punjab or somewhere else, some other location. If you want to maybe clarify, we can of course follow up, but we'll certainly provide details of where you can see seat availability as well.
Okay, fantastic. Similar to that, so if a client needs to resit a test, how long do they have to wait before they can register again?
Actually, there is no time period. I know that there was, and I know that some of the other providers did also used to have a time frame, but certainly there's no limit on the number of times you can take the test or how frequently or how long you have to wait. So the only thing you do need to wait for is for your results to have come through from the previous test. So if you were to take one today, bearing in mind that our results come out very quickly within 2 days in most instances, then you could at that point register for another test on a day that suited you.
Okay, great. We have a question that's come in around, how can one be a partner agent and access materials?
Okay, I'm sure Chris probably has some thoughts on this as well.
Yeah,
But essentially,
I think.
sorry,
Sorry.
no, go ahead.
Yeah. I think it would be the first step would be, as we mentioned, we have a range of PTE leads in different regions, and the first port of call would be making that connection locally. What we can do is outline the ways in which we can work together in partnership, and we've given a bit of a flavour of the different ways in which we can do that according to your needs, where the areas that you're focusing on, whether it be more preparation or consulting, and looking to provide marketing support, etc. So in regards to local partnerships, we can put you in contact with the PT lead in your country, and I think that would be the first port of call. Mino, I don't know if you want to add anything to that too.
No, I think you pretty much captured it. I think essentially the thing to bear in mind is that there are lots of different ways to work with agents, and some agents are large, some agents are small, and we fully understand and appreciate that. And what we want to do is be able to work with you in a way that suits you and helps your business as well. So we are very open to discussions around how we might work together, and whether there are opportunities for referral schemes or similar types of programs. And certainly, as Chris said, the first port of call would be your local representative, and then based on those conversations, we'd be able to look at the best way of working with you to both your and our advantage.
Okay, excellent. We've got a few more, so I'll try to zip through these. This one might be a quick one. If someone were to buy 100 test vouchers at once, how long would the vouchers be valid?
The vouchers remain valid for 1 calendar year. So if you bought 100 today, which is the 30th of July, they'd be valid until the 29th of July 2021. So again, you may want to think about whether you want to purchase 100 right now, or whether you want to purchase 50 now and 50 in 6 months' time, to give you more time to use them across your client base. And that again depends on how many clients you're seeing, etc., and what works for your business. And certainly we would be very happy to discuss that with you and look at what was most suitable for your business.
Okay, fantastic. We've also got a question here around test centers in South Africa. So do we have any there currently, and how available are appointments at the moment?
Chris,
yeah, I can cover that one off. Yeah, we do have testing in South Africa, currently in 5 locations. So on our website, there is a section called Test Centers and Fees, and that will give an indication of the precise location. So in Johannesburg and in Cape Town, we have testing currently available. We will shortly have UKVI testing available in Sandton as well. So that's something to keep an eye on the website. That provision will be available, and we can put you in contact with the PT lead in South Africa if there's any particular information you might want to discuss about opportunities locally to work together.
Okay, great. I see we've had a lot of questions come in around a common theme. So a few people have asked us, how can you become an agent, and how can you set up a test center?
So just talking about the test center one, obviously I understand that it's something which a lot of people look to as a potential way of working with us. What I would say about our model is that we try to keep test centers as a neutral channel to literally deliver a test, and not really get involved with the promotional activities. And we use a Pearson VUE network of test centers around the world. So often a test center might be delivering other tests for other clients of Pearson VUE as well. So in fact, as agents, what we'd rather do with you is work in these other ways, in commercial ways, build commercial partnerships, and leave the testing part to a neutral channel, because that allows us to explore different business opportunities with you more freely than if you were also a test center. So that's where I'd ask you to think about whether it would really be the best way to go forward in terms of test centres. Obviously, we do work with test centres, we do bring them on board, but we would need to have a much deeper discussion, and there's quite a lot of onus on you as a test centre to be able to manage the security procedures and so on and so forth. So I'd certainly want to focus more on our commercial opportunities with agents than on a test centre. And sorry, the other question was, Rochelle, I can't remember. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. The other one was around becoming an agent.
Well, I'm not sure that that's one that I can answer, actually. I guess that's a business decision. If you are not currently a registered agent, then you would need to go through the appropriate channels to get registered and build your business. It's not, unless you mean a partner agent, and that would be covered off by what Chris just described in terms of how we might work with an agent. But becoming an agent, I'm not sure that unless I've misunderstood the question, I'm not sure that that's something that we are really best placed to advise on.
Okay, well, maybe we can follow up afterwards with the individual on that one, but thank you. Yeah. One last question, and this one I think is an interesting one given the results from a poll earlier. So how many UK universities are accepting PTE academic for postgraduate?
Chris, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so at the moment, we have 98% of universities in the UK recognise PTE academic for both undergraduate and postgraduate purposes. So whether that be for an undergraduate or postgraduate programme, the student can take PT academic. To find out the exact list and just make sure that the universities that your client is applying to accept PT academic, we would direct you to the website, which has a full list, an interactive list as well, where you can search for the university and it will confirm that they do indeed recognise us. So in the UK, we have a wide network of recognising institutions. We work closely with universities in the UK. So if there's any further information you might need around a specific university, please do let us know. We can take that offline. But the short answer is we have the vast majority, 98%, recognise us for all programs.
Okay, excellent. I will just zip in one last quick one and then we will close. But this question is, in addition to credit cards, what are some of the payment options that can be used that you can offer to PTE academic test takers?
Because it's all done online and the registration and booking process is online, we can only take credit cards or debit cards. However, we do understand that that is problematic in certain markets and with fluctuations in foreign exchange rates and so on. And that's one of the reasons that it's always worth thinking about the voucher option just for that purpose as well, in that one institution or one organisation purchases the vouchers using a single credit card, but then the candidates can actually purchase those voucher codes from you in cash. So it avoids that difficulty. And I know that that's something that we faced in Nigeria once, and it was quite problematic. But the vouchers option does take that fluid situation away a little bit. So I'd encourage that. But certainly if you're booking directly, unfortunately, we don't really offer any other options at this time.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, I think we're at the top of the hour now. So thank you very much to everyone who joined. Thank you very much for your questions as well. If we didn't have a chance to answer it, or if we indicated otherwise, we'll be getting in touch after the webinar. Please watch out for the follow-up email, which will also include a link to the recording. And we hope to see you at another one. We're doing an installment of these, so please watch for further webinars in the future. Chris and Mana, any last comments?
No, just to say thank you very much for attending. It's great to see such engagement from the agent community. We really hope to build our engagement with all of you and really find the best ways of working together to provide you with solutions for your clients. So thank you, and look forward to answering any further questions that you might have when you respond.
All right, marvelous. Thank you, everyone. Take care, and we'll hope to see you soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.